Hey guys, welcome to the channel and another video. Today I'm going to be watching Star Trek, the motion picture by Robert Wise, starring William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, and I'm sure many others. Although I haven't seen any films from this director, I do know him by name. I believe he directed the 1961 version of West Side Story. Anyways, let's get one thing out of the way. Historically, I was never a big fan of Star Trek. I don't know why. I just never got into it, I guess. I know the franchise is extremely well loved, and I have seen the recent reboot trilogy, and I do remember liking the first two. I don't think the third one was very good. Also, I'm not completely out of the loop with Star Trek. I do know Shatner played Kirk, Nimoy was Spock, George Takei, he was Sulu, and I'm also familiar with the characters of Uhura, Scott, McKay, and Chekhov. These are iconic characters, and I've seen references to them all over the place over the years. About this film, I know that the first is not the best received, the first, at least in the movies. I've gotten a lot of requests to watch the sequel directly, the Wrath of Khan, I believe, ignoring the first one, but I just can't do that. I have to start from the beginning and make up my own mind, just like I did with the James Bond franchise. Please subscribe if you don't want to miss out on the rest of the James Bond franchise. I will leave a link up there somewhere to the entire playlist. I will be watching the Wrath of Khan after this, and if I like that, I'll continue with the rest of the films too, so yay. I don't know what to expect from this film at all. No plot spoilers for me, nothing, and I'm going in 100% blind here. I'm a big fan of sci-fi, so I'm fairly excited to get into arguably one of the most famous franchises ever. But before I do, to help support the channel, I have a Patreon page for full-length reviews and reactions to this movie and over 180 movies, 2 TV shows, early access, and weekly polls for what to watch next. You'll need your own copy to watch along. The link's in the description below. Please consider being a patron. Please subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon for instant notifications. Do check out my other videos. Like if you like this video, dislike it if you didn't. With all that being said, let's get started. Star Trek, the motion picture, Wise, Shatner, Nimoy, and a bunch of others. Let's go. Wow. Big fan of the music already. It's a mix between sci-fi and almost romantic music. I think that was just an extended intro because now we're getting the Paramount logo. Star Trek, the motion picture, starring William Shatner. Music by Jerry Goldsmith. No wonder it's excellent. What a Hollywood legend. I have heard that this film is a little special effects heavy. And I have to remind myself this came out 2 years after Star Wars, which revolutionized the use of miniatures. Klingons, I believe. They have a very distinctive look. Looks like some sort of space interference. Wow, okay.
This is Epsilon 9, Columbia. Am boosting output. How region?
Not bad. Very good for the 70s.
That's within Klingon boundaries. Who are they fighting?
Unknown, sir.
Oh, it's a common enemy. Dude! The Klingon ship just vanished. Oh man, their missiles did nothing. And the second ship is gone. Literally disappeared.
Sir, it's on a precise heading for Earth.
I wonder whether there's continuity between the TV show and the film. Wow, look at the planet design. A medal for logic? I do know that Vulcans are very logical, but Spock is half human, half Vulcan, so we have to keep that in mind. Looks like he failed. Did he fail to be completely logical? Cut to Earth. Is this San Francisco? William Shatner as James T. Kirk. The spacecraft design is very cool.
Mr. Scott, an alien object of unbelievable destructive power is less than 3 days away from this planet.
3 days. Wow. The new film had the Enterprise in gray, but this one is in white. Apparently, Shatner was a little hard to work with back in the day. He had a bit of an ego. Is that true? The director, Wise, here is taking a lot of time to introduce us to the characters and also the Enterprise itself. I mean, this is what I mean. It's been almost 5 or 6 minutes and we're still approaching the ship. So I wonder whether this slower pace was intentional or they just wanted to create a sense of scale and that's why they're taking it slow.
Captain, Starfleet just signaled your transfer of command order, sir.
So Commander Decker doesn't know that Kirk is now in charge? That'll be awkward. I'm sure he wouldn't like that. Man, I love these well-made sets.
Admiral Kirk. Oh, we're getting a top brass send-off.
I'm taking over the center seat, Will.
You're what?
I'm replacing you as captain of the Enterprise. You'll stay on as executive officer.
May I ask why?
My experience. I'm sorry, Will.
No, Admiral. I don't think you're sorry.
It is a little of a power play.
You told me how envious you were and how much you hoped you'd find a way to get a Starship Command again. It looks like you found a way.
Ouch. With somebody on it. Holy crap, they'll die?
They're losing their pattern.
Oh no.
That was terrifying, that sound. And the visual effects were pretty decent too.
What we got back didn't live long.
They're dead.
Commander Sonex can be reached through the Vulcan
It
embassy.
was Sonak, the other Vulcan, which means this gives an opportunity for Spock to come on board.
I'd still like a Vulcan there, if possible.
None available.
There is one.
Our orders are to intercept, investigate, and take whatever action is necessary.
Over 82 AUs in there. There must be something incredible inside their
82
generator.
AUs is huge. 1 AU is the distance between Earth and the Sun.
We are under attack.
External view.
Oh man. I like that they're keeping this cloud super mysterious. We almost have no information on it. I mean, the funny thing is something is still recording. Like, where's this camera? If it was part of the ship, why hasn't it gone? I'll excuse that.
Viewer off.
But the people are clearly freaked out, and justifiably so.
The navigator, Lieutenant Ilea. She's already aboard and en route to the bridge, sir.
Looks like Decker knows Ilea.
Hello, Ilea.
Decker.
Yeah, they definitely know each other. They have a history.
Bones is a thing out there.
Why is any object we don't understand always called a thing?
Headed it this way.
Is this Bones?
I need you.
The medical officer? Looks like he didn't want to come on board, but he does have a healthy respect for Kirk.
Well, I'm going to need a top nurse, not a doctor who'll argue every little diagnosis with me.
Take us out.
Although the plot has been very slow so far, the score is fantastic, the miniature work is excellent, and the visual effects are more hits than misses. So far, these are the strongest points I've noticed.
Departure angle on viewer. Departure angle.
That's fast. They're going past Jupiter and its moons.
Engineer, we need warp speed now. Jim, you're pushing.
Yeah, exactly. He's being a little rash, but he's known for that. Nice! Interesting visuals.
I'm to impact.
20 seconds.
Arm photon torpedoes.
I mean, yeah, listen to Decker. He knows the ship better than Kirk at this point. Okay, I don't know what happened, but seems like the problem disappeared. Good job, Decker.
No casualties reported, Doctor.
Wrong, Mr. Chekhov. There are casualties. My wits. As in frightened out of, Captain, sir.
We're at warp point 8. I'm sorry if I embarrassed you.
You saved the ship.
I'm aware of that, sir.
Stop competing with me, Decker.
You haven't logged a single star hour in 2.5 years. That plus your unfamiliarity with the ship's redesign, in my opinion, sir.
I agree with Decker.
He may be right, Jim.
He is right, Jim.
I'm sorry.
That you left Delta 4? Or that you didn't even say goodbye?
Yikes.
It's an obsession. Your reaction to Decker is an example, Jim.
I would say my biggest complaint so far has been the pacing of the movie. Spock!
Spock.
A reunion for the ages.
I'm aware of your engine design difficulties. I offer my services as science officer.
Well, so help me, I'm actually pleased to see you.
He isn't happy. He failed to become logical, right?
We have the engines rebalanced into full warp capacity.
Back to warp speed. Nice.
Spock, you haven't changed a bit. You're just as warm and sociable as ever.
I believe it may hold my answers.
Well, isn't it lucky for you that we just happen to be heading your way? Bones.
Sarcastic as ever, Bones. I mean, even though he looks unemotional, he's clearly affected by the fact that he couldn't purge all his emotions and become 100% logical. I love how sensationalized everything is.
We are being scanned.
Do not return scan, Mr. Spock.
Captain, we've seen what their weapons can do. Shouldn't we take every possible precaution?
Mr. Decker.
Captain, I suspect there's an object.
It's that missile type thing, the weapon. Huh, that's a different color. So I guess the Enterprise has better force fields?
The intruder has been attempting to communicate.
We don't know what it'll do. Moving into that cloud at this time is an unwarranted gamble.
That makes sense. Again, the visual effects here are fairly impressive, they're creative, and I don't think that's the weak point of this movie so far. The music by Jerry Goldsmith, I can't stop praising that. It's excellent. Come on. Do we finally get to see what's at the center? I think the filmmakers were very proud of the special effects. That's why they're showing it a lot. Wow, that's a different shot. This is very cool. Something's beaming in. And it's interacting with all the instruments. Sometimes you have to go old school. Oh. Oh? She disappeared? Did it abduct her or just vaporize her?
This is how I define unwarranted.
Yeah, hindsight's 2020, dude. We're actually heading into the belly of the beast.
Why bring us inside? Not to destroy us. They could have done that outside.
We're trapped, sir.
Looks like they are indeed trapped inside this thing. This is visually interesting. They look like cities or something.
0 degrees.
Oh!
Temperature leveling 39 degrees.
She's back.
I've been programmed by V'ger to observe.
V'ger.
Infesting USS Enterprise.
Infesting. Interesting choice of words.
Who is V'ger?
V'ger.
V'ger is that which programmed me.
Where is Lieutenant Ilea?
That unit no longer functions. I've been given its form to more readily communicate with the carbon-based units.
She's dead, effectively.
Why does V'ger travel to the third planet of the solar system directly ahead?
To find the creator.
Creator?
Interesting.
What does V'ger want with the creator?
To join with him.
Decker won't be happy about... Exactly, there we go. Decker's here.
Decker.
So it still has her original memories?
Probe. Ilea? Exactly. It is a program mechanism, Commander.
We're locked in an alien vessel, 6 hours from Earth orbit. Our only contact with our captor is that probe. If we can control it, persuade it, use it.
Oh! What's Spock up to?
I'm passing through a connecting tunnel, apparently a kind of plasma energy conduit. I'm seeing images of planets. It could be a representation of V'ger's entire journey.
Interesting. So it keeps a record of everything that was in its path, because the Epsilon 9 did get destroyed by V'ger. I am so confused. I wonder whether it's intentional, this confusion. I have no idea how he decelerated or how he even came out of the void.
I saw V'ger's planet. A planet populated by living machines. It's asking questions. Is there nothing more?
Is the machine trying to find the meaning of being sentient, being alive?
Sending a machine to Earth. Looking for its creator.
Was it made by humans, this machine? Is that where it's going? Is that why the machine thinks Earth has its creator?
V'ger is a child.
This child is about to wipe out every living thing on Earth. Now, what do you suggest we do? Spank him.
Bones.
It does not know what.
Ah, just like a child. So it's up to us to give it a purpose?
The carbon units know why the creator has not responded.
He's making it up.
V'ger requires the information.
The carbon unit's information cannot be disclosed to V'ger's probe, but only to V'ger, directly.
What is it going to do? It's opening up, V'ger.
I'd like to go along.
Mr. Sulu, you have the call.
Nice, he's actually bringing Decker along. Dude, that looks suspiciously human-made. Like one of those 70s satellites. It is human-made. It's not V'ger, it's Voyager.
Voyager.
And Voyager 1 and 2, they're real crafts, and they're still traveling. So it was human-made.
Voyager 6.
It's Voyager 6.
This was launched more than 300 years ago.
So it somehow got sentient?
The machine inhabitants found it to be one of their own kind. Primitive, yet kindred. Collect all data possible.
Learn all that is learnable.
It's been doing its task all this time.
It amassed so much knowledge, it achieved consciousness itself.
Ah, it is AI.
We are the creator.
The creator must join with V'ger.
V'ger must evolve.
What more is there than the universe, Spock?
Other dimensions.
You mean this machine wants to physically join with a human?
I'm gonna key the final sequence through the ground test computer.
It'll give him an opportunity to become one with her.
As much as you wanted the Enterprise, I want this.
Oh wow, nice visual effects here. Very interesting imagery. And they're gone. I hear triumphant music by Jerry Goldsmith.
Well, it's been a long time since I delivered a baby. I hope we got this one off to a good start.
I hope so too.
Human adventure is just beginning. Next up is Wrath of Khan. Okay, I took some time to collect my thoughts. First off, that was definitely an experience. It was an overall positive experience, I'd say, but far, far from perfect. I'd say that the strengths of the film had to be the premise, the cast, the excellent visuals and visual effects, the magnificent score, and the production end. Whereas the main weakness had to be the execution of the plot itself and the overindulgence or over-reliance on the visual effects. I thought the film was slow and it got caught up with its own visuals so much that the story itself suffered, if that makes any sense. It's basically a 90-minute movie that's masquerading as a full 2-hour film. Well, let's start with the directing by Robert Wise and the script by Harold Livingston. The thing is, I absolutely love the premise. The idea of a space probe created by man that gained sentience with the help of machine aliens, and the probe comes back to look for its creator to fulfill its mission. The idea is pretty amazing, but the execution here was misguided, to say the least. I wish the director and the writer focused more on that, the idea itself, instead of extended sequences of the audience staring at an almost static screen for minutes at a time. Two examples spring to mind. One is at the beginning of the film when Kirk was trying to board the Enterprise, helped by Scott. The entire sequence was over 6 minutes of just showing us the exterior of the ship in vivid detail. I understand the reasoning for it, to create spectacle for longtime fans. I bet that couldn't be achieved or done before with a TV budget, but 6 minutes just to enter the ship? The second example, when the Enterprise was approaching Vigiers, which was even longer. I'd say it was closer to almost 12 minutes. The visuals were great, very creative, don't get me wrong, but holy crap, man. You don't have to hold a shot for over a minute and a half with almost no new visual stimulation. At least we got treated with the excellent score by Jerry Goldsmith, who we'll talk about later. Another issue I had with the movie was the extended reaction shots. There were so many reaction shots of the actors when something significant happened. Was that really necessary? I get a feeling that it's also remnant. It's something that the movie inherited from the TV show. Even though I didn't watch it, I have a feeling that it was. I think these reaction shots probably work for the show in an episodic format, but not for the big screen. It just extended the runtime for no reason. Do let me know what you thought about my observations here. Okay, let's talk about some positives. We talked about the negatives, so on to the positives. The crew was great. I enjoyed all the acting roles, how they interacted with each other. Shatner and Nimoy in particular, they were great in their roles. They are, after all, iconic characters, and their on-screen chemistry was great. Bones in particular was hilarious, and I loved how straightforward his character was. No nonsense. I wish the other characters like Sulu, Uhura, and Chekhov, and probably some other famous characters I didn't recognize because I'm not familiar with the franchise. I hope that they were explored a little more, but I'm sure they will be in the future films. And I also have a feeling that they were pretty well fleshed out characters in the TV show, so the director didn't have the need to spend too much time on them. It makes sense, but the movie, for a first-time viewer, suffers a little for it. The alien here, the entire design was great. Vigiers, I mean. It was mysterious and visually striking. The filmmakers, they kept us in the dark most of the time, which really helped the plot, I'd say. And speaking of the visuals, holy crap, were they spectacular. Some of the best I've seen from a film around that time. The compositing work was better than average, and I felt like there was some rudimentary CGI used, which was also done tastefully. The set design, makeup, and costuming, they were commendable. But I could see the influence of the 70s in everything, the time period when this movie was made. The miniatures, the miniature work of the ships in particular, they were fantastic. I could see the love that went into making all those little props, and even the sets. The details did not escape my eye for a second. Good stuff. One of the highlights of the entire film had to be the iconic score from Jerry Goldsmith. The dude was a legend, and his work here was extremely memorable. I can already hear the soundtrack playing in the back of my head. His score sounded majestic, almost romantic at times, but clearly inspired by other contemporary sci-fi films of the time. The pacing issues in this film were somewhat tolerable for me just because of Jerry Goldsmith's excellent music. The sound design was pretty good too, so no complaints in that department. As I have talked about my criticisms extensively, overall, Star Trek: The Motion Picture was a mixed bag with some good and some bad. The good included the intriguing premise, the visual effects, the production design, the cast, and the score, whereas the bad mainly was the relatively poor execution of the premise, the pacing, and the overindulgence and reliance on the visual spectacle, which made the film drag on for way longer than it probably should have. I love the chemistry between the actors and their interactions, so I'm pretty excited to see The Wrath of Khan and to see why it's considered such an improvement over this one. Anyways, thank you for watching. I have a Patreon page. Considering a Patreon, subscribe to the channel, click that bell icon for instant notifications. Do check out my other videos. Like if you like this video, dislike it if you didn't. I will see you in the next one. Bye.